Hi, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. To all my friends, friends of the new, friends from the past, friends that didn't make it this far, and the friends that have walked away. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. To all my family that have always been there, regardless of how close we may or may not be, Merry Christmas. To my CI, if you're watching this, fuck you, man. I hope you choke on a candy cane. That all being said, if you guys would let me, I'd like to read to you one of my favorite Christmas stories. It's a story called Hearts by Piers Anthony. I know it says alien plot, but it's like a compilation of his stories. So without further ado, here's Hearts. Perhaps there is no greater store of evil in the world than there has been before, but modern technology magnifies its impact and spreads its share to many people who might have been spared in prior centuries. Thus it is the spirit of Christmas seems deafened by the roar of the jet, blinded by television, and suffocated by smog. Charity is subordinate to commercialism, greed, and desperation. In all the town, only Amberley was free from evil. He had nothing, he wanted nothing, he was a wanderer, a non-entity. Yet he felt the oppression of dissatisfaction about him, and he wished that everyone might be blessed with the peace of mind he experienced. Amberley walked about the town on Christmas Eve, diverting his mind from the chill of the night by concentrating on the problems of others. In one house, a child was crying with a stomachache, for he had eaten gluttonously. Amberley took that agony to himself, and he walked on with one hand holding his midriff, while the child went blissfully to sleep. In another house, a husband quarreled bitterly with his wife. Amberley drew in their anger and walked on with a bad temper while they kissed and decorated their tree. He met a man on the street who was morose because his employer had suffered business losses and had provided only a token Christmas bonuses. Amberley absorbed that frustration and went on disgruntled while the man found sudden pleasure in his decision to donate that sum to charity. 3 children were playing hearts in their bedroom, their voices shrill with dismay as the adverse cards appeared. Amberley accepted their ire, and they laughed cheerfully with the pleasure of the game while he felt the pang of negative scores. He was playing his own game of hearts, by amassing the bad while the others retained the good. He became more evil with every living heart he purged. A lonely widow was afraid. Amberley took that fear and left her confident while he nervously avoided the shadows. An old man wept with despair, knowing that his grasping relatives desired his early demise. Amberley brought in that despair together with the avarice of the relatives, and there was a joyous family reunion while he longed for a rich legacy while he simultaneously despaired to yield. A boy cursed his dog, who had chewed his new toy. Amberley punctuated his gait with expletives while they romped. A young woman preened herself excessively before the mirror. Amberley acquired her vanity and left her sweetly modest. Each contact degraded Amberley, but ennobled the town. At last, only one evil remained, and to that he was drawn. A young man stood in the park, intending suicide. Rejected, he had dosed himself with LSD and stolen the gun. Amberley passed, taking the weapon and its implications. The youth departed whistling. There were other girls, and tonight was Christmas Eve. Amberley walked on, completely cursed. All about him, the people of the town celebrated a more wonderful occasion than they have ever known before. Christmas season free from evil. The goodness that had once competed with ambient evil in each heart now had free reign. Amberley had given the greatest gift of all, but at what price? He seethed with greed, jealousy, and fury. Pain suffused his body, fear tormented his mind, despair gripped his soul. To hell with Christmas, he cried, feeling perverse pride in the boldness of expression while despising the attitude it reflected. Then he remembered the gun. Drug vision slithered across his wincing perceptions, and a nimbus of evil surrounded the weapon. There remained one sin he had not embraced, the final one. He brought the black empty eye up to meet his tortured living orb, and girded himself in cowardice to "Joy to the world." Powerful and pure, the melody embraced him. The people of the town were there, quarreling him with all the rapture of their reborn innocence. The song ended. The man who had donated his bonus to charity opened his Bible and read, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son." And Amberley realized that the sins of the world had never been his to expiate. The very name of the holiday identified the one assigned to that task almost 2,000 years before. Amberley's effort had been a mockery, no more than in a macabre game of hearts. He had tried to assume total evil to spare others, but had only made himself miserable. The rich old happy man kneeled to place warm new boots on Amberley's feet. The confident window wrapped the warm shawl about his shivering shoulders. The modest young woman took his arm and led him to the banquet loving couples had prepared. Cheerful children smiled at him. "He got it all," one whispered. "Every single bad card." Then the peace of mind he had cherished before was restored in double measure, for this was the rule of the game. But no evil returned to the hearts of the people, for in fact he had not been taking but giving. Evil is a moral vacuum that cannot survive in the presence of good. A gift of this type always multiplies itself. Perhaps there is no lesser store of evil in the world than there has been before, but its impact seems diminished, for modern technology only serves the will of mankind and spreads some share of good to every heart. Christmas is dominated by generosity, joy, and love. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you stuck around to the end, thank you. God bless. Merry Christmas. I love you all.